Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm John and this is Addicted to Fishing. Today we're going to kind of go over a rod and reel arsenal that I have going on for this year. It's pretty much been my rod and reel arsenal for several years. I just thought since I haven't kind of covered what I use, I would go over that. I'm not going to put them in any particular order. And this is just primarily for bass fishing. And a little bit of other type of fishing. I'll have a separate video I'll do on my rods and reels for pan fishing. Keep in mind, I don't have any sponsors for a rod and reel. These are just rod and reels that I've used and I really enjoy. Some of them are fairly mid-range. Some of them are low-end or more budget-friendly. Some of them I got in other deals to get a rod, and I've just kind of hung around with them. The first one I've actually got separated. It's kind of the oddball in the mix. This is my swim bait rod. I also use it when I go fishing for muskie or striper. Pardon me, they're all going to be in their rod sleeve. So this one is 7'6". It's rated for 2 to 10 ounce lure weight, 20 to 40 pound line, and it's a heavy action fast rod, and it is a Bass Pro Shop Graphite Series rod. Like I said, it's what I'll take out to throw swim baits, and I'll use it for muskie or I'll use it for striper. You see that one doesn't have a reel on it. Usually what I'll do, depending on the application, I've got a Shimano Cardiff 400 series. I've got one here that's braid to leader, and I've got another Cardiff that's lined with just straight mono. You know, if I'm throwing big weight baits or something like that. Or I'll go to the Shimano Calcutta 400B. And I've got these lined up with 25 pound mono. I do use those a lot for catfishing. And then what I do is I keep these all in a Plano tote, Plano box, waterproof box. I picked this box up at Walmart several years ago. Close it up for you guys so you can see. It's just a regular Plano box. I like it because I can keep the 4 big reels in it. But yeah, I don't remember what these boxes ran new, but I picked this up for $5 in the clearance aisle at Walmart. Let's go over to some of the spinning gear. The first one up, I use this one a lot for crappie, whether I'm minnow fishing, whatever it happens to be. This one is a light action, 2 to 8 pounds, lure weight 1/16 to 1/4 ounce, and I think it's 6'6". I have that one paired up with a Shimano Sahara 2000 series reel. And this is a Lew's Mr. Crappie, I believe. Picked this up on clearance at Walmart. I think they had them at my local Walmart, marked down to about $5. The Saharas I got really cheap online. I think through eBay. This one has 4 pound trilene. And I think it has a 10 pound braid behind it. Next up is probably my everyday real light tackle. The Lew's and this Bass Pro Shop Microlight are my real ultralight light fishing for hover rig, hover strolling. Where's the stats on this boy? Okay, so this is a medium light, 7 foot, 1/16 to 3/8 ounce, 4 to 10 pound line, medium light, fast action. Again, that's paired up on a Shimano Sahara 2000 series reel. I have 10-pound braid with a 4-pound trilene Centilite line. I'll pull out some of that line later. But this is a great, real light action for throwing those little small baits. You can see here I was hover strolling with a ball head, kind of just mid column. It's a great rod, great reel. And you'll notice most of my reels are Shimano. The last everyday rotation Shimano. Again, a Shimano 2000 series Sahara. This one has 15-pound Power Pro to a, usually it'll have a 6-pound leader on it. This one's actually straight braid. I was throwing this around, chucking a fluke, and I wanted to keep the fluke in a higher the water column, so I went to straight braid. The rod is a Wright McGill Skeet Reese series. It's 6 foot, 1/8 to 3/8, 6 to 12-pound line, medium fast action. This is actually the Skeet Reese shaky head rod. I really like this rod for some of my heavier applications. Of course, throwing the fluke. I'll throw some bigger underspins on it. Throw some small top waters. Quite a few different applications for that one. That's the 3 everyday spinner rods that I use. Another one that I don't use a lot, and this was part of some of these other rods. It was the package deal I got. I was looking for a swim bait rod. You can see I've got a Savage Gear 6-inch swim bait on the back there. This is a Shimano Bantam Sitica. It's an old school reel on a Wright McGill Skeet Reese A-rig rod. It's an 8-foot rod, 3/8 of an ounce to 2 ounce, 15 to 30-pound line. It's a medium fast. I've got 50-pound high vis yellow Power Pro with a 17-pound mono leader on there. Again, I don't use this one a lot. I'll frog with this rod, big swim baits, whether they're hard baits, glide baits, or the big soft paddle tail swim baits or boot tail swim baits. Just being 8 foot, it's one of those rods I don't carry a whole lot with me. Kind of getting into the meat and the potatoes of my arsenal. These are kind of, there's I think 7 casting rods I rotate. This one is part of that deal with that Wright McGill. This is a Abu Garcia Hank Parker series. It's got a Johnny Morris Pro qualifier on it. I don't have it lined up. I'm probably going to put 17-pound line on there. 7 foot, 3/8 to 3/4, 10 to 20-pound lure rating. It's a heavy rod. This will be a rod that I use mainly for bottom contact, jig and worm rod. It's actually a really light rod, and I really like it. It's not a high-end rod. It's a rod you can. I think it's been discontinued, but at one point you could pick these up at Walmart for $30 or $40. Along that same lineup, another jig and worm rod that I'll use. Got that same Bass Pro Shop qualifier reel on it. Abu Garcia Vigilant rod. This is 7 foot, medium fast, 1/4 to 5/8, 8 to 17-pound line. Again, this will be a bottom contact. If I know I'm going out and I'm fishing slow, I'll probably tie a worm on one and a jig on the other. This is got 17-pound mono on it. An everyday jig and worm rod. I'll also utilize this one for spinner baits, a few other things. It's got an old school Shimano Bantam Corrado on it. It's Johnny Morris Carbonite 2.0. It's 7 foot, rated from 3/8 to an ounce, 10 to 20 pound line, medium heavy fast. As you can see, I got a 3/8 ounce spinnerbait on the back. This particular day I was worming with it. Or no, I'm sorry, I was throwing some top water on it, so I've got straight 50-pound braid. The nice thing about these Johnny Morris rods is you can mark back here in the back what your line weight is. You can see I set it on 12 because normally I'll have a 12-pound mono leader on there. I use this rod a lot for top water. And then I use this rod quite a bit for spinnerbaits. A lot of my rods, I try to be as versatile as I can with them. I can throw several different types of lures on them, which is where this boy comes into effect too. This is a Wright McGill Skeet Reese spinnerbait rod. You can see I got a paddle tail swim bait on the back. I normally, if I'm carrying this rod, I do throw a spinnerbait on this rod a lot. Buzz bait, 3/8 ounce, half ounce jig head with a 3.8 to 5.8 paddle tail on the back. This is 7 foot, rated 1/4 to 3/4, 10 to 17 pound line, and it's a medium fast. It's a great spinnerbait rod. Got that paired up with a Shimano SLX 150 high gear. For a $100 reel, this has proven to be a true workhorse. I've paired this up on several different rods, and I have yet to not find an application I like with this reel. I have it on, I believe this is 14-pound Trilene big game line. Great rod and reel, really super light. I could throw it all day. And my main 3 rods that I'm taking every single day. Another Wright McGill rod. This is Skeet Reese crankbait rod. Got that paired up with a Shimano Canon 150 XG. It's a 7.2-to-1, 14-pound mono. This rod is 7 foot, 1/4 to 3/4, 10 to 17 pound line, and it's a medium fast. Got a great parabolic bend to it. It's great for throwing crankbaits. I do throw various size crankbaits, and I also like throwing a chatterbait on this rod. There's a few other things. I can throw some nice top waters and stuff on it and get away with it. But mainly this one I use for cranks and the chatterbait. Next one up is kind of where I'm torn between the Skeet Reese and this old St. Croix Mojo Bass. It's a 7 foot medium heavy power, moderate action, 10 to 20 pound line, 3/8 to 1 ounce. You see I've got a small Lucky Craft wake bait on there, 14-pound mono. This is the old St. Croix crankbait rod. Got that with a Shimano Bantam Corrado. This rod's absolutely fantastic for a chatterbait as well. The nice thing about it is it's kind of old. It's kind of been used a lot, so it's got it's a great bait for throwing these little wake baits. Great square bill rod. If I'm throwing a square bill, it's definitely on this rod. I like that little slower action on it, or that little slower speed reel on it. These old greeny Corrados have definitely served their purpose. And the last rod that I use in everyday action is this guy. It's a Shimano Chaos. 6'10", 10 to 17 pound line on, and that's what the mono rating is. Power Pro 15 to 40, 1/4 ounce to 3/4 ounce, and it's a medium heavy. It's got that 24-ton construction. It's a great jerkbait rod. As you can see, I was throwing a lipless on it. I've got that paired up with a Shimano Corrado 200 high gear. It's a great rod. Jerk baits are phenomenal on it, but again, when I'm going and I'm bank fishing, I'm trying not to carry 10 different rods. So I've been kind of going out and tossing around some different lures on it. The rattle traps are working great. This has 14-pound, I believe it's 14-pound Seagar. I think it's 14-pound Seagar. I don't know which line of Seagar is. It may be Smackdown, or not Smackdown, but Invisex. I'm not quite sure. Great rod and reel setup, perfect for throwing. Again, like I said, the jerk baits, and kind of a quick sneak peek at what I do use for crappie and bluegill. I just buy these cheap Shakespeare Micro Series 5'6" ultralight. This one happens to be a light action, but I do keep the ultralights. Just a cheap rod, cork handle, seal the handle. This one I haven't sealed a handle on. Of course, you can see I don't even have a reel on it, but I'll get into those. I keep a few of these. Just something inexpensive for when I'm going out crappie fishing, bluegill fishing. If it gets banged up on the rocks, I'm not really worried about it. And I don't think, I don't think I have that Seagar line anymore that I can show you what I'm running. I also have a backup Corrado 200 SF that I kind of rotate through when I need to rotate it through. It's spooled up with big game 12-pound line. You can see my reels haven't been cleaned up yet for spring. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much what I'm using this year, last year, the year before. Until I make some kind of upgrade, those will probably be my rod and reel combos that I use. I'd like to upgrade the old school greenies to something new and retire those. I've got a few old school vintage Shimano reels, a couple others that I've used over the years. You can see I'm really heavy with Shimano reels. I've been using Shimano reels over the past 40, probably 40, 41 years. I love them. They're absolutely built like a tank. The Johnny Morse reels or Daiwa reels, great reel. That's something that I'm looking at trying to move out from my greenies to something newer. Not quite sure what I want to do there. Maybe get some more of the SLX. I really, for the money, I really like those. As you can see, I really don't have anything that's super high end. Some of those, the Corrados are $200, $150 to $200 reels. They're paired up with $100 to $120 rod. If I put my Johnny Morse Carbon Light rod, that's $119 with a Corrado. You might be talking about a $400 combo. Of course, that's not what I paid for them. Again, we're a budget fisherman. The Calcuttas are expensive reels. I bought all those for $100 or less. The Cardiff's the same way. All the greenies, actually, it was kind of a funny story about those. I had a couple old school Abu Garcias, and they weren't the originals that were the best of the best Abu Garcias. But anyway, I think I had 3 of those, and a guy traded me the Seneca and like 3 or 4 of the greeny reels for those couple Abus. Price wise, it was definitely worked in my favor. But he wasn't really a bass fisherman. He was strictly a cat fisherman. There was another guy that was a bass fisherman that I got some reels from, and he just didn't want the older reels. Again, some of the stuff is where I bought it in bulk. That microlight spinning rod, I've had that. I've had that forever. A lot of my rods I've had for 30 plus years. I don't necessarily retire them. I just don't fish with them as much. Um, Again, as you see, I do have some dedicated specialty rods, um, and I try to utilize them the best I can for other baits like that spinnerbait rod. I'll try to throw a few other things on it. The paddle tails work; those small paddle tails throw great on it. It's got great sensitivity. They're real light. I've got a torn rotor cuff. It's been torn for many years, and it's hard for me to carry those big heavy lugs. That's why a lot of my old rods, I'm not quite using them anymore. That I've had for 30-40 years. Um, Not that there's anything wrong with them. They're just a little bit heavier, so they kind of get cumbersome after a while out fishing them. But again, we're bank fishing. Um, so I try to find rods that I can use multiple purposes with. Some of them work out perfect for 3 or 4 different types of applications. That Skeet Reese crankbait rod, it's probably the biggest exception to the rule that I have. Um, I've tried multiple different applications with it. It's definitely not a bottom contact jig and worm rod. It's no go. Spinnerbait is way too much for it. It's really treble hook baits, and then the alternate that I didn't think I would like, but I've ended up liking, is throwing a chatterbait on it. One of the things that I like about that with the chatterbait, and I throw that mono, is once them fish come up and grab that chatterbait, it's got enough flux in it that allows them to get that bait, and it seems to keep them pinned really good. I do like the St. Croix rod a little bit better for that application. It's because it's old, it's really limber, but it's not quite as limber as the crankbait rod, the Wright McGill crankbait rod. It is designed for crankbaits, but it seems to me, it works a whole lot better for chatterbaits. But normally I'm throwing small square bills or those little wake baits on it, and I like those a lot better on the St. Croix rod versus the Wright McGill rod. So I kind of make a compromise to the chatterbait on the Wright McGill crankbait rod, and then the St. Croix crankbait rod. I strictly use crankbaits on it. I'll throw top water, hard baits on it. Like I said, I try to find stuff that I can use a multitude of different applications for. Typically, what I do when I go bank fishing is I carry 3 rods. I carry if I know I'm doing a lot of finesse fishing, I'll carry 2 spinning rods, and then I'll find more of a multi-purpose rod like the Skeet Reese spinnerbait rod. It'll throw a little top water crankbait's okay. It's a little stiff for that, but I keep mono on it to kind of compensate for the action off of that rod. So I'll carry it that way. If I'm more power fishing, I'll carry 2 casting rods and then 1 spinning rod. I always make sure I have 1 spinning and 1 casting no matter what I'm doing. Sometimes I'll take a few extra rods because I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. And that way when I get to wherever I'm at, I can make that last minute decision and say, okay, today we're just finesse fishing because it's strictly that kind of water or weather conditions. And in that case, I may take all 3 of my spinning combos and nothing else. Or I'm just taking the 2 spinning combos and then picking usually that spinnerbait rod, or I use that St. Croix crankbait rod. I can throw a few different things on that. It's not great for bottom contact for jig and worm. You can throw real light worms on it. The Chaos rod, I just picked that up. not too long ago. And it's going to become my really all-purpose rod probably this year. So if I know I'm finesse fishing, but I want to have something I can throw, you know, quite a few different things on besides a jerkbait rod. Jerkbait, it's a fantastic, hands down, wonderful jerkbait rod. But I can throw a spinnerbait. You know, I've done spinnerbait, crankbait, wakebait, rattle trap. I tied a chatterbait on it, just to see if I can make that work. And so far it seems that it's going to do that work. And again, you notice that I've got either braid to leader, a couple instances I'm straight braid, or braid to mono, or straight mono. I try to keep, I like that stretch on that mono, making up for, or compensating for some of the actions on the rod. So if I'm using a crankbait and the rod's really not as parabolic, that mono kind of helps take some of that shock. Yeah, guys, that's pretty much my combos for this year. My combos that I've been using. You know, and if I make any updates and any changes, I'll let you know. I do rotate through my rod and reels, move reels around like the Wright McGill crankbait rod. I did have the slower speed Corrado Super Free on it, and I changed it over to the Canon to kind of get a little bit better speed out of it. It's a higher speed. It's a 7.2 versus a 6.6 reel. That SLX has moved around rod to rod. I just recently picked up really cheap those Johnny Moore Signature Series reels. And they're going to be great for worm and jig fishing. You know, really, you just got to look at what you can, what the actions are on these rods. Take them out, throw quite a bit of different lures on them. See what you can multi-purpose out of them. Like I said, a lot of these rods, they can be a multi-purpose rod. You don't have to have a designated rod for every type of lure out there. The only recommendation I do have for that is if you're throwing treble hook baits, it's really been beneficial to have a designated crankbait rod, something that's glass or it's a glass composite, something that's got that great parabolic bend to it. It definitely keeps them fish penned. I'm fishing for a lot of smallmouth in the rivers, and when them smallmouth come up and jump, I've seemed to have lost a whole lot less fish with that crankbait rod, and definitely using that mono. You know, that mono takes all that shock and just got the stretch. So, you know, if that fish decides to take off and it doesn't have quite that cushion bend to it, that mono definitely makes up for it. Braid, you get zero stretch, but it floats. So if you're using a braid to a mono leader, that's perfect for top water. But yeah, that's primarily what I run. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching the video. If you haven't already subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you can know when I'm putting out a video. I'm trying my best to put out some videos. I've got some different health issues going on, different things going on that's kind of gotten me slow and not putting out videos as often as I'd like. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.